Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
From ECMAScript 6, yesterday we discussed certain features, right? So we first talk about something called as class, right? So class was not there in JavaScript, and objects we can create, or we can have the objects which are some ready-made objects are available, or built-in objects are also available, and we can create our objects also in JavaScript, but there is no class-based inheritance. So there is no concept of class in JavaScript. But now, as we saw yesterday, for single page applications and for generating the dynamic response on the client side, what we need is JavaScript. So we definitely need, for huge project development, we need some framework, JavaScript framework, and Angular is one of such JavaScript framework. So there, when we are developing the code, the developers, right? Earlier for UI, they were not developers, but they were more into how the page should be designed, or they were more on the page authors. They were not much developed. There was not much development on that front, on the UI side earlier, because we used to create the dynamic response or dynamic view on the server side. So all the development used to happen more on the backend side or server side. We also yesterday discussed about thin server architecture, where now the view will be generated, or dynamic view will be generated on the client side itself. So that is thin server and thick client architecture that we are following. So in that case, now the people who are backend developers, now they will be shifting to UI development, JavaScript development. So they are coming from some background which is object oriented. They are very much comfortable with object oriented approach, whereas JavaScript, it is object based language, but it is not object oriented fully. There is no concept of class, whereas the people who are backend developers, they are very good at this concept of classes and creating the objects which are the instances of that class template, right? So we needed somewhat similar to that approach in JavaScript. So ECMAScript 6 specification, it included one important feature, that is class. So now developers can easily move from backend side to the front end side. They can develop the code easily, or they can get comfortable very easily with JavaScript code, right? So this was a major important change over there, that ECMAScript 6 included the class. Now we also saw what the class that we are writing, it is nothing but a constructor function, right? And the constructor functions are there since long time. In JavaScript, constructor functions are there, but classes were not there. Now we are writing a class which is treated as a constructor function when the code is getting executed, right? So yesterday we did some demo of class. I think that was one feature. Let us create one demo if required. Another feature we discussed about, that is JavaScript has only two types of scopes. Those are local and global. Local is the function scope, right? Otherwise the window scope or the global scope. And there is no concept of block scope in JavaScript. But now with the keyword let, we get this block scope available in the JavaScript, right? So we will have a demo on this also. So instead of now declaring a variable with var x, when I am writing, it becomes either local or global, but it is not having the block scope, no concept of block scope. But if I declare a variable as let x, it becomes available only in that block, not throughout the function. So this is block scope. This is introduced through this keyword let, and even const is like that only, the block scope. But const, we will use that keyword when we want to declare a variable where the value cannot be changed. Right? Arrow functions or lambda functions that we discussed yesterday. Very important point about arrow functions is it does not carry its own this. We should be very much careful about the context of this, right? So this, when we are using any Java or .NET like object oriented language, then the concept of this is very clear. This refers to the invoking object, and for static methods this is not available. So very clear and clean, right? But in case of JavaScript, functions are also objects. We can pass functions to other functions. We can return a function from another function. We can even assign a function to a variable. And even we can have a function as an element of an array. Right? So with all this, the context of this is little complex. So depending on the function invocation pattern, this reference changes. Right? We have seen that outer function, if we are writing a function inside a function, then inner function can have access to the outer function's variables. But inner function will have its own this. The function will have its own this. This concept was not there in our Java or .NET. Outer function will have its own this. Inner function will have its own this. So we were not getting the expected output yesterday, if you remember, right? So for that, now we can declare the variable as let, we will come to that, or we can declare it as an arrow function. The importance of arrow function is that inner function, instead of declaring that as a standard function, we can write an arrow function there. Important point is arrow function will not have its own this. So there won't be any confusion created with respect to this. What you expect and what you write, it is always in sync when you are using arrow functions, right? And one more important feature that we will see today, that is module. Right? So this we will have some hands-on, and then we will move to TypeScript. Okay, so please create one .js file. Now we want to create a class there. Okay, and let that class, let us name it as shape. So what all we will have there? Let us declare some height and width there. Okay, so okay, I will also type along with you. Suppose there is class demo.js, right? And let us create one shape class, or let us create it as rectangle. Okay.
Yesterday we already created
Did we do?
this.
Okay,
Yes.
we have already created this, right? Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
we had created that calculate area also.
Yeah.
The method was also there, right? Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
yes, we already.
okay, fine, fine. So I will use the same one then. No issue. I don't have to type it again. Okay, fine. So this much was done, right? So so we created some objects also. Var square equal to new rectangle, var r1 equal to new rectangle, and then we invoke the method, right? So now let us have one more class created. Okay, create a class point. Create a class point, and it will have two attributes x and y. Can you create it in JavaScript?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have this class point, and we will write a constructor there. We didn't do this yesterday, right?
No, we not did this.
So let us have here maybe not height, x and y, right? X comma y. Let us create a point class. So what you are going to write here? This dot x equal to x. This dot y equal to y. Right? Let us write one method here. Okay. Now that static keyword, as we used to have it in Java, we can use that here also. That is again one addition in ECMAScript. Right? I can write a method. Suppose distance. I can declare that method as static. Okay, and let us maybe now when we know we can use let Now we will make use of let only. We will not use var as far as possible. Suppose we want to find out the distance.
So we have to complete that. Let
Yeah,
dx equal to.
sorry. No, I have to write here first. So P1 dot. So P1 and P2, consider we are passing two points there. So our point object has two attributes x and y, right? So dx is the difference in P1 dot x minus P2 dot x. Same, you can declare y also, dy. Okay, P2 dot x. Then let dy equal to y minus P2 dot y, right? Then we want to return the distance, right? When we have x coordinates and y coordinates, we can use math dot I will take dx and dy. So suppose we are creating this class, okay? Now next thing will be, let us create 2 points. So let T1 equal to new point, as we created a rectangle object yesterday, maybe 10, 20. Create one more point. Whatever. And then what should I do here? What should be the line? We want to find out the distance between these 2 points, right?
Yeah.
Now this distance method,
Even.
yeah, correct. So distance is a static method, so we can directly use with the class name. The concept remains the same. So point dot distance, right? And pass P1 and P2. Okay. And we will put this in console.log, right? Where is it? There is some always hope. Yeah. So This is how we can deal with, or we can create the classes. Okay. Then did we create this yesterday? Okay, so we will create one array. Create an array. Okay, and that array will have suppose 6 numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and then what we want to work on each element of this array. We have to select only even numbers. We have to filter them, means only even numbers, and then we will write the square of each even number, and then we will find out the sum of all the squares. We want to find out the sum of squares of even numbers from that array. So you can start, you can do it, start doing it. So how do you create an array in JavaScript? You use the square brackets, right? Now, so you should be aware about the different methods which are available, which can be invoked on the array object, right? So I'm taking this demo because we should be comfortable with writing arrow functions. Okay, so let us do that. So maybe var sum equal to, the array name is nums dot, what first operation we want to carry out? We want to filter, right? Now here we have to pass the operation as an arrow function. How we want to filter this array, right? So we want to just take the even numbers. So we will make use of what?
Mod of 2.
Yes. So var mod 2 equal to, it should be equal to 0. So this is fine, filter. So each element, it will be taken as val, okay, and it will be accepted only if it is an even number. Then what is the next operation? We want to map each even element to its square. Okay? Map. So what will be the arrow function here?
Square or square?
Val into val.
Oh, square.
Sorry. Sorry.
I added a square root actually. Sorry. I added a square root.
So is it okay what we are writing here, or you have any doubt?
No, no, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. So first we are filtering the even numbers, then we are mapping it to their squares, and then finally what we want to do? Reduce. What is the reduce operation? Always it will return a single value. So this is the arrow function. It takes previous value and current value. So this is how previous element and the current element. So we are getting the sum of all those elements, right? Which are squares actually, right? And then what is the last thing? Console.log. Maybe sum. Okay, I have taken 6 twice here, whatever. So 36 plus 36 plus 4. Okay. Now, now, okay. Let us create one more array. Okay. Create one more array of strings. You can write whatever strings you want to have. I have created an array messages. You can use the same array also, right? So look at this. I have created an array of messages first. Please create it. Then if I just want to use a for loop and print this, how should I do that? Okay.
For
Just
each on array.
sorry.
For each on array.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Actually, the voice is not very clear. I'm not.
For each on array. Sorry.
the messages array, right?
Yeah.
So we want to iterate over this array, and we want to print each message actually. That is the first thing. I am adding one more complexity here. Let us create an object. Look at line number 3. That is cat, right? What is it? It's an object. How do we create an object in JavaScript? Just a pair of curly braces, and then we can add key value pairs, whatever, right? So here, where cat, so we are creating an object cat. So please create that. That cat object has say, and it's a function. And what does it do? That function takes some parameter, okay, and whatever is the string, whatever is that parameter, it prints it to the console. Correct? Now we can invoke this same method on the cat object, right? So we will take a for loop, okay, and what we are going to do, cat dot say and pass messages of I. This is okay. So can you check what is the output here? See, we created an array of 3 strings, and we are calling this cat dot say, and for 3 times, right? We are taking a for loop, and we are passing each of this message here, and we are just printing it. So are you getting the output what we expect?
Yes.
Right. So it must be printing this these 3 strings. It must be printing. Now we will make some changes over here. What we'll do, we will use we will set some interval. Okay. Now we will write set timeout, not interval. We are just setting timeout. Okay. Set timeout. Look at this. Now I have commented this cat dot say, and what we are doing, we are using set timeout, and yesterday we used interval. The same way, this function, this is a callback function that is passed. When it will be called? When that particular time is over. Yeah. So set timeout function, there inside that function implementation, you will invoke cat dot say messages I. We are taking the same for loop. I have just commented out this cat dot say. Okay. Instead, we are using set timeout. Pass the function. Inside the function, call cat dot say messages of I. And then what should be the time interval? Set timeout. Timeout is I into 1500. Now check what is the output. So we are getting something different, right? Now it must not be showing you the messages, actual messages, right? So we are getting undefined. So can anyone explain this? Why we are getting this undefined?
Messages of I is undefined. Like that I now is what is it? Or what's the length now?
Huh. So
That's
scope, if you
maximum. Yeah.
say, correct. So if you talk about scope of I, okay, we have declared I as var. So its scope is function scope. There is no block scope right now. The I is in function scope, right? So now when we are executing this set timeout, right? So this function will be shifted to side. Okay, what is that function? Cat.say messages of I. Okay, so the first messages of I, first call to that say method is kept aside because it has to be executed after some time. Then next iteration, again that will be removed from the stack and that will be piled up. Okay, let me show you. Now that cat.say, okay, when I is 0, cat.say messages of 0. That is that function, but it cannot be invoked immediately. It cannot be executed immediately. So it will be removed from the stack and it will be piled up here, suppose. First call or first message value is I, when value of I is 0, right? And that first call to say, I would say. Because it should be calculated, it should be executed only after that particular time is lapsed, right? Then next value, the stack is clear here. Now I is 1. Again there will be another function call and that will be piled up here. Okay, then same will happen with the third. And then if you look at the code, see, so these 3 function calls are kept aside, right? And I is getting incremented each time. And now this exits. So after this, what is the value of I? Undefined. The value of I is undefined. Once it exits, the loop is over, right? And then suppose the first call, it's time.
Value of I will be the maximum, right? I it's not undefined, right? Because it is incrementing each time.
See, value of I is changing, is getting incremented from 0 to 3.
Yeah. So
0
finally,
to
it is
2. 0, 1, 2. Huh.
yeah.
After that,
When it become 3, it's
after
3.
that, no. See, when it becomes 3, okay, after that I plus plus, so it will not enter this loop only. It will not enter this loop, right? Suppose the value of I is 3, correct? Now it is coming out. Now the first function's call, its time is over, its time slot is over. So that function gets invoked. What is the value of I at that time? 3. So it is getting invoked like cat.say messages of 3. But messages of 3, it is undefined. Then say will be invoked for next. The I value, there is only one I available and its value is incremented to 3. And each call is taking that new value of I. Why? Because there is no block scope. If the block scope is available, then for each iteration, that value of I will be retained, because that is for that particular block. So unless and until that block gets executed, that value is retained, right? So now we will make a small change here. Is it fine? When we are having function scope, whatever, if we are redeclaring a variable n number of times, still there will be only one value available throughout the function, because it is if the same variable we are declaring. Okay, once that variable is, it is only available throughout the function. There is no concept of block scope when we are using var keyword. Now when we are using let, now this I value of I for the first call is 0, and that 0 is available for that particular block. Unless and until that block is getting executed, that value will be retained there itself. Are we okay with this?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we are using var, I become a global scope, and when you're using let, I become a local scope inside that for block, right?
Yes, yes, correct. So this was about let, right? Then one more thing we will see right now. So we will see what are modules. Okay, so that module is also available from ECMAScript 6 onwards. Okay, so let us quickly create one .js file. Module in JavaScript is nothing but a .js file, so it can act as a module. In Java we have packages, and there are certain rules that package statement should be the first statement and all that, and that should be inside the folder named, same named folder, the .class file should be there and all that stuff. Here we don't have such things. Module is nothing but any JavaScript file. Extension is .js. That file can act as a module, right? So how to use them? The reason behind adding the module is again the same as why we have packages or why we have namespaces in different languages, right? For organizing our work in a better way, grouping together the similar functionality entities. So we will create different modules, okay? And then whenever I want to use a particular function from a module, I will import it, right? But how to create a module in JavaScript? It is nothing but just a .js file. So let us create it as my module.js, suppose, okay? Now this module, suppose it gives us the square or cube of some number, okay? And wherever I need that that square or calculation, I will import this module, right? Now here important thing is we have to use a keyword export, because this is a module from where we are exporting some functionality or some variables, whatever, right? So let us write here export function, maybe cube, and it should return x into x into x. Okay, so this is one module where one function is there, that is cube, that is exported, right? Now we want to use this. How to use a function from a module? Let us have one more file now. Maybe use module .js. Now here what we are going to write? Suppose I want to use that cube function, right? So I want to use console.log and I want to write here cube, and I will pass some number. But now from where this cube is available, we have to write that as an import statement. Import. This is the syntax, and it shows also what is the syntax, right? You can use that. Import cube from module. What is the module? Whatever is the .js file name. Because my module, right? You written it export, right? Is it working in your case or it is giving error? The same error?
I'm getting another error.
What is the error? The same one?
No, I can get unexpected syntax.
Unexpected. So please check your curly braces or
Unexpected string for the import.
okay,
Let
okay,
me just, yeah, okay.
I'm getting the same error.
okay, like mine. Okay.
Yeah.
It is not taking this way. Okay, fine. We will not waste our time in this. I will just fix it later on, and we'll see that then. Just last time.
You might need something like require.js or common.js to load external modules, right? By default, it's not enabled in Node.js.
But if I'm running this, it is saying model not. Okay, fine. Even if it is not working here, when we use use Angular CLI, it comes with all that loading and everything will happen. Right now we are creating all those files as separate individual files. So maybe that could be the reason. But actually it works. I need to check.
You might need common.js or something, right, Sangeeta?
Yes, but then I have to create a project, and then otherwise how it will like that.
And if you want to try, actually, script type equals to module you can give in your browser. Then load that particular module file and use that module file in Chrome. Takes care of
That's the browser. Right. Okay. There we can do that. Okay. So okay, let us not do it here right now. Okay. So apart from module, only the thing to remember about the module is whatever variables, functions, whatever we want to put it inside a module, that is nothing but a .js file, and from there we will export that entity, and wherever we want to use it, we will write the syntax import, and from that .js file. Okay, and then it should work. It will work when we are working with Angular CLI anyways. So that's all that we want to see from cover from ECMAScript 6. Okay, promises, I don't think we should right now use it. Anyways, we will be using observables. Okay, so let us not go into this detail right now. Okay, we will start with TypeScript now. So anyone aware about promise? Have you used promises before?
Yes, we use
Yeah.
extensively.
Okay, so promises in Angular 1.x, you must be using promises only, right?
Right.
Right. But now we will be in Angular 2 onward, we will be using observables. Will not use promise. Now we have seen some of the ECMAScript features, right? Now what is TypeScript and why do we need it? Any guesses? Anything, whatever we have used so far, from that, if you can guess anything. What is TypeScript? As the name suggests, it is again scripting language like JavaScript, but it is called as TypeScript. So when we are creating a variable inside a JavaScript file, so let me open some file here. Yeah. So here we can create the variables just by declaring them as let or var usually, right? And that way, do we require to give the type here while declaring a variable? No. So this type, the variable that we are declaring, it can be of any type. It can be a number, it can be a string, it can be any other object, anything, right? So can I call this kind of typing as weakly type?
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan, and grow your skills immensely.
This is weak typing, right? A var variable that we are declaring, that is, we do not specify what type, what data type it will hold, right? So it is a weakly typed language. Another thing, at the runtime, it will take that type, right? So type of that variable is actually considered at runtime. So if I'm writing this var cat equal to or var messages equal to this, so its type is array object, right? So this is a dynamically typed language. Before running, we don't have anything over here. As in case of Java, we declare a variable as int x. So that int or string message, so that type is available statically at static time, right? So if in Java like languages, if I write int x, so this data type of the variable is available at static time, right? And then I cannot write int x equal to string. That is not possible. Some string, some message, right? So these kind of languages, we call them as statically typed. And strongly typed. Whereas if we consider JavaScript, var x. Now that x can be a string, it can be a number, it can be an object, whatever, right? So JavaScript, it is dynamically typed and weakly typed. Now we are talking about something called as TypeScript. Okay, then when we are using this TypeScript, as the name suggests, it has some sort of typing, some type we can attach. Finally, what is getting executed is JavaScript. What browser can understand or what it can execute is JavaScript. TypeScript is nothing but some language. It is a superset of JavaScript, I can say, right? And TypeScript is not executed inside the browser, but TypeScript is finally transpiled to JavaScript. Means what code is going to get executed inside the browser? JavaScript. But JavaScript is dynamically typed and it is weakly typed, right? So when we are developing huge code, when we are developing applications, there are certain challenges because this JavaScript is dynamically typed and weakly typed. So to work with the code in a better way, we can use another language that is TypeScript, and then finally that TypeScript will get compiled or transpiled into JavaScript, and what gets finally executed is JavaScript, right? So we will write the code as we are writing JavaScript only, but now we can add types to it. Now TypeScript support all the features which are there in this ECMAScript 6. So to give you an example, if I'm writing a function fun1, okay, if I'm passing x, okay, I can specify its type. Okay, this is TypeScript. Okay, so we can specify that type. What JavaScript that is getting executed inside the browser, all those types will be removed from that, and this TypeScript is actually transpiled into JavaScript finally. But for our convenience, we will go for TypeScript instead of JavaScript. Right now, as I said yesterday, if we are creating a class, actually it is treated as a constructor function. So the constructor function actually has a syntax which is more complex, but writing class is that way simple, right? So we will write classes. TypeScript support classes, TypeScript supports modules, and the classes, those are getting converted finally. If we see the .js file, that .js file will have the constructor functions where we are creating the classes. right? So now what is the need of this TypeScript actually? What do you think? Why we prefer this typing for the variables? What advantage would we get when we are able to declare the type?
We are reducing the number of use cases what we need to handle. If it is dynamic typed, all the data types we need to handle, right? And if you are
But
passing string,
okay,
We can reduce the
so
runtime error.
yeah, runtime error. Yeah, in runtime, the data can be anything. If you are expecting a number and we get a string, then the
see,
methods which are written on number may not work for string, right? So number of use
okay,
cases, edge use cases will start increasing. So TypeScript reduces all those things.
okay, okay. So in that case, if I'm writing like this, okay, and then suppose x, I'm here, I'm treating it as when I'm calling a function, okay, here I'm calling the function 1, okay, with suppose ABC. So what will happen?
It will show compile error because I'm expecting a number to be passed,
Okay,
but string is passed, right?
okay. Now there will be an error, but still the file will get converted into JavaScript and it will get executed also. Because in JavaScript, there is no typing. Then what is the advantage? We will run this like this, okay? So I will declare a type, I will pass some different type. So when we are transpiling it to the JavaScript file, it will show the errors, but still it will create the .js file. In Java, what happens? If you have got the compile time error, then it will not create your .class file. It is not the case here. Still, it will create the .js file and it will run that file.
So
Then
when
what
that
is the
actual
need of this?
execution happens, then it will throw error, right? Because in the function we might be expecting x as a number, but here in the .js file, when you transpile with error, till we execute that function, we'll not get to know what is that. That is runtime error.
But does it mean that for JavaScript, its nature is like that, right? So in JavaScript, it is not something. It is not like your Java, where if you are passing some wrong data type, then it will throw class cast exception or type casting exception. Nothing
Correct.
like that
It's
in
an interpreted
JavaScript.
language, right? So it's not a compiled language. It's interpreted language. Till that line executes, JavaScript doesn't know what will happen.
Yes. Okay. So think in. I will just give you one pointer here. Consider the huge applications that you are developing using JavaScript. Okay. Now, JavaScript is not a compiled language. What is the advantage of the compiled languages? Apart from these errors, okay, forget about that, that we will get runtime errors. Forget about that. Apart from that, any other advantage?
So your VM can do optimizations based on the data type what we are passing. I mean, let's say I'm passing, if I know that only x is expected as a number in the function f1, then your VM need not provide all the methods available for all the data types. Yeah, it can only optimize the compiler, that is a V8 engine or be it other Trident or whatever we have in different browsers. it can compile it when optimized, saying that okay, X will be always number, and whatever methods and properties available for the number data type, only those I will be allocating. So it's
Okay.
more optimized way, right? So
Okay.
that is one thing I can think of. But of course, your V8 will not understand TypeScript. No, I'm just telling
Right.
Java
Correct.
versus JavaScript.
Correct. So basically, if you are talking about this particular thing like optimization, again you are talking about runtime. I'm talking about the time when we are developing the code, when we are writing the code. Do we get any advantage out of this? See.
Yeah, so if I have one input type, then let's say if it is expecting only numbers, then if I pass a string, then something not expected, I will get to know then and there, right?
So that will come to surface at an early stage.
Yeah.
That's what you are saying, right?
Correct. So we are reducing one override, what might happen in the runtime.
Okay. So again, we are talking about the same thing, that errors will be coming, we can consider them as warnings. So we will be notified in a way that you are writing something wrong, right? Apart from that, there is a major advantage for these statically typed languages, and that is how those IntelliSense tools work.
Your IDE you meant?
Yes, IDE.
Okay.
Yeah. So what these IntelliSense tools do, they read your types, your classes. Suppose you are writing a class, then what are the attributes over there? And when you put a dot, suppose I am using an object of point, that point class we have created. Now that point, when I'm using a point object, then when I put dot there, it will show me X or Y, what I want to use. So this entire IntelliSense tools, those work on the basis of what statically type you have, what static types you have declared and what you want. So this IntelliSense tools cannot work without that. And developing the code without IntelliSense tool, now you can't even imagine to write your Java code for a project in Notepad. Now, when you are using TypeScript, this Visual Code, or there are even Eclipse. You can write TypeScript code using Eclipse. You have to just add one plugin. So these IntelliSense tools are making use of these types heavily. So that is one more important advantage, or why we need something different than JavaScript. Because we cannot change. See, why JavaScript? Because of its own nature. So we cannot think of changing the nature of JavaScript. What we can do, we can add one more wrapper or one more abstraction level where developers get the convenience of writing the code in an easy way with the IntelliSense tools. And finally, what is getting executed is JavaScript. So Angular 1.x, it was using JavaScript. Then they understood that there is a need for changing the architecture. And when this need was felt, they entirely rewrote the Angular framework, entirely rewriting of the framework, because they changed the architecture, the basic foundation architecture they changed entirely, right? And that is Angular 2. When they changed it, the code which is written in, that is Angular 2 framework itself, it is written in TypeScript. At that time, they had some, what we can say, some collaboration with Microsoft. Microsoft has created this language TypeScript, and they had some collaboration, like they will be promoting or they will be using TypeScript. So Angular 2 itself is also written in TypeScript. And can I write Angular 2 onwards code in JavaScript? Yes, I can, because TypeScript is just one layer above the JavaScript. Finally, it gets boiled down to JavaScript only. But creating the code or writing the code in TypeScript is far better, far easy as compared to writing it in JavaScript. Now there are so many IntelliSense tools available where they suggest or recommend when you are coding, right? So we will now we'll write some examples. We'll do some hands-on on TypeScript, but just before that, even TypeScript has a concept of interfaces. So the developers, now backend developers have shifted to front-end development. Earlier, front-end development was not that much focused. Efforts were not there for front-end development. That was more of page authors used to do that. They were working on HTML5 or CSS3 and all that styling and design, page design. That was important. But now we are developing an architecture which is thin server and thick client. Now front-end development. So for that and front-end development, the language is JavaScript only, through which we can get that dynamic view generation on the client side, right? So now for JavaScript, writing these huge applications, complex applications, we need some wrapper, and that is TypeScript. The people who are shifting from coming from backend development background, they feel very comfortable with TypeScript classes and interfaces. Again, interfaces concept is not there in ECMAScript, but it is there in TypeScript. So auto completion, navigation, refactoring, all this is very important. You cannot think of writing a project or starting with a project development without all those tools. And this will not be possible for a weakly typed and dynamically typed language. We need static typing, so TypeScript. So language services, that is a term, right? So that is available with TypeScript, which is not definitely available with JavaScript. So now suppose you have a project in Angular 1.x and now you want to migrate to Angular 8. That is possible because you have written the code which is JavaScript. And TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. Yesterday we discussed about the objects, like class and the objects. So if I want to create multiple objects, okay, suppose employee 1 2 3 or cars, I gave you an example of car. So we can have multiple instances of car, we can have multiple cars 1 2 3, and they will have their own values for the attributes like model, color, price, all those things, right? So here in such cases, like when we need to create the stateful objects, we are going to create a class. When we need multiple instances, right, but all those instances will have the same structure, that structure is nothing but the class, the same similar concept, right, as we have it in Java. And then that state is nothing but the value for the color and all that price and model, and that will differ from instance to instance. Inheritance is also available here. So inheritance is nothing but in parent something is declared or some attributes are available, those are available to the child. Same concept is available here also. When we want to create the objects, now we will create a class. Singleton objects are also objects, right?
Sangeeta, we can achieve same stuff in prototypes also, right?
Prototypes are nothing but the same thing actually. See, prototypes, how do you create prototype in JavaScript? For stateful objects, you create a prototype, right?
All
Okay.
objects are prototype. It's based out of prototype only, right? And even
Yes.
in prototypes, we can do inheritance, singletons, new instances, right?
Yes.
Because prototypes.
There is either prototype or singleton. Prototypes is like if you are creating multiple objects, right?
Yeah.
So if you are creating, if your need is to create multiple objects of particular type, okay, Then how do you do that in JavaScript without classes? What you do in JavaScript, you can write functions. So there are different types of functions. So when you want to create the object of type, suppose car, so we'll write a function car, correct? Now that function, you will create it as a constructor function when you require multiple objects. Now suppose there is object is the super type there also, right? And one object inherits from another object, actually that is the prototype, right? There is no concept of class in JavaScript. If okay, if I'm writing a constructor function car, okay, then how do I create the object of car? With constructor function, I have to use new keyword, right? And in that case, the functions, the methods that we are writing inside that class, inside the constructor function, those can be invoked with the object. And now that this points to that object only in case of the constructor function. Here, when we are saying class, it is nothing but the constructor function. One. Without classes, how do you create such objects?
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan, and grow your skills immensely.
Suppose I'm writing a display function here. Okay. So display is a property of this car, and which is a function. So it can have the different attributes, and then we can write like this, right? So function, and then we may put console.log, and there I will write this dot model, console.log, this dot model, this dot color, right? So when this display function, how it will be invoked? First we will create the object of car, right? So var c1 equal to new car. So it is essential that for the constructor function, we have to create the object in this way only, and then I can call it. It is called as method invocation pattern c1 dot display. Right now, in this case, this display function here, we are writing console.log this dot, right? This dot color. Okay. Now this display function is getting invoked on this c1, and only at this point, this is pointing to the invoking object, that is c1. What is the prototype here for this c1 object? What is the prototype? Its prototype is the constructor function, that is car. It is its prototype. This is the concept. When we want to create a single object, then we will not go for a constructor function. But now suppose I want to create a calculator, which is a stateless object, right? Suppose calculator, var calculator. So how can I create that object? Just write it like this. Just embed it in the curly braces, and that is an object. But in Java, as we create a class and then we can follow singleton pattern to create a single object only, to restrict the creation to single object or the multiple objects or multiple instances. Here in JavaScript, it is different. It is prototypical inheritance, it is called as. So every car object, if I am creating, its prototype. Now var C2 if I create equal to new car, its prototype is car. What is the prototype of this object? This is not a constructor function. This is an object, right? Its prototype is object itself. So what we were talking about here. Okay, can you just again, what is your query apart from prototypes?
We can achieve inheritance, singletons, multiple instances,
Uh-huh.
everything in prototype also, right? So why classes?
No, classes, basically the very first reason why classes is nothing but the people who are good backend developers, now they are shifting to front end development. They are very much familiar with classes and interfaces. And the developers who are working with JavaScript now, if you are comfortable using JavaScript, that's fine. But now you will be writing, for creating any prototype, you will be writing a constructor function, as I just now showed you.
Yeah.
If you want to create cars, right, you have to write a constructor function, and those objects will be prototype. Its prototype will be that constructor function. Do you agree to that?
Correct.
Yeah. So this kind of concept, you will be familiar with that if you are working in JavaScript. If you are working as a front-end developer since long, but it is not that easy to follow this concept or to write the construct. Even the constructor function, writing that syntax itself is complex. What is more simple? Writing a class is simple, or writing a constructor function is simple? What do you think? Maybe you are from JavaScript background. If you are from that background, then you will find it easier. But the people who are coming from Java background, they will definitely say writing a class is much more simpler than writing a constructor function. So huge amount of people who were working on backend, now they are shifting to front end. That is one of the reasons. I'm not saying that is the only reason. That is one of the reasons. More importantly, with JavaScript, like constructor functions and all that, how will you use the IntelliSense tools? And can you develop the huge applications without IntelliSense tools? Consider the size of application. Without now, if you are writing a class, okay, for that IntelliSense tool, it is very easy to read that class and what are the attributes and what are the functions inside that. Accordingly, it may suggest you when you are typing the code. This IntelliSense tool will not be available if you are writing it as a constructor function. Right? So Are we okay with this concept?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, so we'll go through the slide, and I'm going to share the slides with you also. But first, let us do some hands-on. Okay, some first basic 1 or 2 examples. Okay, do you have TypeScript installed in Visual Code? That is it there? Can you
Yes.
check that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You have, right? So if you type tsc-v, it will show the version. Okay. Now, okay. Let us create a .js file. .js file. Okay. Let us create a .js file. And then console.log hello world. Now, sorry, make it .ts file. .js is we usually do that. I wanted to say .ts, so I will change it to test.js. Let us see if I can rename it. Test.ts. Okay, so we have test.ts, and we are writing there console.log hello world, and that is actually our JavaScript code, right? Now, if I try to run this file, what will happen? Node test.ts. Okay, so if you write node test.ts, what happens in your case? Is it printing hello world, or is it giving any error? Have you created .ts file?
Yes.
Okay, and did you run it?
Yeah, it's giving hello world.
Hello. Okay. Now just do it TS, not there, on your command prompt console. Okay. Just write there TSC test.ts. Okay. So this is TSC is nothing but we are transpiling the .ts file. So the transpiler will transpile this file into .js file. Now you can see test.js file also, right? In the same folder, it must have created a test.js file. And it will also have the same contents, right? See, this is test.ts file. And if I give tsc test.ts, right? Then it creates the same name with .js. So it creates the JS file. If you open that JS file, the TS code is converted into JavaScript code, right? And then I can run this file node test.js. In earlier node version, it used to give the error for node for TS files. Okay, it used to run only .js files. But now in this this is the latest version where it is transpiling and it is running the .js file.
I think TypeScript constructs, if you use, it will not work, Sangeeta. It's because console.log is just API in JavaScript. It's getting executed. You name it
Yes,
ABC.
yes, yes. It is JavaScript only. It is JavaScript only.
Okay.
Now, if you write here, use the same file, okay? Or you can create other one also. Now, just type here. We will use some types, okay? Like this. Okay. We already have this console.log, right? Now, do this. Just declare a variable var_grid. So this is a JavaScript type declaration only. But now this is TypeScript. So we are giving a type here. Okay. So consider it as a string, okay, and give some hello world whatever, right? Now, have you run this file? Earlier it used to give some different error. Now it is saying it cannot understand this type. This is not understandable by the JavaScript. This is not JavaScript syntax, right? So it is saying unexpected token, right? So now earlier it used to give it cannot run that file actually. Now we have to transpile it first. So let us do that. So TSC. Okay, and then node test.js. So it has created test.js. So it is printing. Now this test.js file, if you see, it has removed that TypeScript related stuff. That message, then it was colon and string. It has removed that stuff. And this is a pure JavaScript code. Right? Now, even if I try to write like this here in the TS file, in my TS file, if I write message equal to 3. TS file. So immediately it shows me the error, right? Because this is TypeScript where we have mentioned that message should be of type string. So this is an error. So if I try to transpile it, what will happen? It will give me error, but it will still create the file. So just write that line number 2 in between, okay? And then first TSC test.ts. Error, the type number is not assignable to type string. Fine. And now if I do so, it is printing 3 because JavaScript doesn't understand that. This is dynamically typed language. When you are writing a message equal to 3, it is going to show you message 3. That is the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript. So even if we are using TypeScript, we must understand that it is getting converted into JavaScript finally. It is for our convenience. So this is done. Is it working for you? On very simple demo.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I think we can stop here right now. Okay. And tomorrow we'll start with the Angular architecture.
Our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.